Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Everyone watching, happy Easter.
Hi,
Happy
everyone.
Easter from the African mommies in Deutschland. Let's see if I can find some Ghanaian music to start this series of today, and then we'll groove in with something from home. Let's see. I know a lot about Nigerian music, but Ghanaian, let's try Daddy Lou.
Oh, okay. Maybe this is too much for the first time, for like first time listeners, don't you think? This is like very typish Ghanaian.
If you've listened to the past episodes, you'll see we've done typical different kinds of songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we used some Cameroonian music, which was listened by like our grandparents and stuff.
Okay, yeah, this is like kind of like the grandparents kind of groove, yeah.
That's right. So don't you worry.
Yeah.
It just takes us back to the roots. You see, I even went African today.
Ooh, you did.
Those South African, I should actually find my kente outfit for something like this.
Yeah. So how do I share this on because I
You
know a
just go
lot
to
of
the
African moms
returnees
will be
page.
eager to.
Yeah, just go to the returnees page, then you can share now to the African mummies in Deutschland. If you go to
Okay.
the returnees page, you'll see we're live.
Okay.
Happy Easter, everyone. Hello, Mokhtar Makeover. Now, that is my special makeup artist in Douala. Hello, Mokhtar. I miss you so much. You see, I can't even manage my makeup. Happy Easter to you, Mokhtar.
Yeah, Calipia's like so.
Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter to Gilles, all the way in Luxembourg. We're having a special session today. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter to Gilles, all the way in Luxembourg. Happy Easter to you, dear Mokhtar. I miss you so much too. I miss your touch, right?
So I have shared it.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we started this session
Yeah.
with music from Ghana. Yeah, Ghana. What comes to your mind when you think Ghana? Probably a lot of things, right? I think Ashanti, but don't think it's the artist in the USA because everybody's like Ashanti. No, 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 no. Ashanti is a tribe in Ghana. And I always say if I wasn't born from in Cameroon, I would have had three other countries I would choose from. Ghana, Nigeria, or South Africa. That explains why I'm representing South Africa today. And we're talking to the African Mummies in Deutschland. We're talking to the founder of the African Mummies in Deutschland. Today we're focusing on women, the role women play during the pandemic, during the current crisis in the world. And there is none other than someone who is constantly in touch with mothers and she knows the scenarios in different homes. My name is Miranda OBEN, as you know, and at 7 p.m. in Germany, 6 p.m. Ghana or 6 p.m. Cameroon, 6 p.m. London, we meet here to talk about how we're going through the the crisis and get experts from different domains. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to welcome my guest of today, Maame Dentaa. Welcome, Maame.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm so glad you could take time off your Easter busy schedule to talk to me today. Thank you once more on behalf of my team for making the time to talk to us today. To start with, how are you today?
I'm a little bit frazzled, but I'm okay. I think who
Easter.
isn't? Like this is Easter period with everything that's going on. We're all a little bit frazzled. So yeah.
I can imagine. You have Easter greetings already from Cameroon. You've had Easter greetings from Luxembourg and from all over the world. So I'm glad that there are so many people tuning in to listen to you, to talk to you. But let's start with something. Oh, that's Cameroon with Crystal. Crystal says Happy Easter. That's from Cameroon. We have Mokta who said Happy Easter from Douala. We have Gilles who said Happy Easter from Luxembourg. Now we have Irina Sanji saying Happy Easter, Shatimira, and of course, Dentaa, my guest today. We have Paulette Temgwa saying Happy Easter. Hello,
Happy
Paulette.
Easter, Paulette.
Great. Good to see you, Paulette. I'm really especially happy to see you. I have very good memories of you in Duisburg. We had a great time together. So happy Easter to you. And of course, all the others that are watching across the world, we say welcome to this session. Let's start with something very, very basic. Something I've always wanted to ask when I get in touch with a Ghanaian guest. And you are my first Ghanaian guest. Maame, tell me about the kente, which is typically Ghanaian. Anything I should know about the print I have on, just help me with that.
Oh, it looks amazing. Basically with the kente printed, I mean, it's very typical Ghanaian and also Ivory Coast as well. Basically it's a national cloth. It has different meanings. It's just that the cloth was always known for being so colorful and expensive and hand woven. Yeah, we wear it on special occasions, weddings and all those things. Yeah, so it's our special thing. We just love colorful things and yeah, it has different significance.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just wanted to start with something from home. We've already had music from home. We listened to Daddy Lumba, who I discovered today. So thank you so much. My musical repertoire is growing so big with the new guests I get. So once more, thank you and you're welcome to the program. Let's just start with something as basic as the African mummies in Deutschland. How did you come about this and what is it all about, the African mummies in Deutschland?
Well, basically, when I came to Germany, I was really struggling. I mean, finding basic information, learning the language, just knowing basically what to do with my life and how to go about, living in Germany. It was super difficult for me. And I really wished for me, we had a place where you could go and ask questions with fellow women's experiences and all that, because your experience as an African woman in Deutschland is unique, and as an African woman in Germany is unique. So I started off with the blogging about my own experiences, and then I realized I wasn't reaching the audience that I wanted to reach. So I was like, hey, how about a Facebook group where we can all come together and then talk about being an African woman here in Germany. So yeah, so that's how it started, and then it's just started growing. There was a need there, so a lot of people came and a lot of people joined, and it became amazing.
Great. Thanks for that initiative, because you started on your own and you realized you could reach out to many more people with that. And that is amazing when you can take a lot of people along with you. We're looking at probably different nationalities within the African mummies in Deutschland, I would think, right?
Oh, yes. We have a lot of Kenyans, Cameroonians, we have a lot of Ghanaians, we have Nigerians, we have people from South America as well, because we didn't limit it to, I didn't want to say Black women in Germany, because I feel like if you're African, if you're dark, if you're Black, you're basically having African roots. So we do have some people, African American people, because we would, at the end of the day, because of our skin color and shared culture, may share the same experiences. So we have a lot of people from Africa, and then we have people who identify as Africans or have African background, and we have even our people who were born here or they have never even been back home, but then they identify as African women in Germany.
Right. So, when it says African mummies in Germany, do you feel like the women who don't have kids are not involved, or how do you
No,
define
we actually tell them when we're starting, it's like for moms and moms to be, because I also wanted it to be a mom focused group, like the African women. Awe, Joy, Awe, for example, Joy has
Right.
African women in Europe and African women
Yes.
in Germany and all that.
Mhm.
But I wanted it to be mom focused because, when you become a mom, like so many things become like, if my good friend said the hustle is different. The hustle is different. Like if you're alone here as a student, the experience is different. But if you're here as a mom, the hustle is different. Finding time to teach your kids, and then finding time to also learn the language, finding time to go through the Grundschule and the school
Right.
experiences and
Mhm.
everything. It's a different hustle altogether.
Okay, so this is moms and moms to be, so to speak. Yeah,
Moms
thank
and
you.
moms to be.
So you set up this platform, which is really, I would say to my audience watching, the viewers and those who will watch later, it's an amazing platform. Whenever I go in there, the exchanges are so rich, so deep, so fulfilling and constructive. But tell us a little bit about who you are. What are your passions? Who are you? Who are you? Tell our
Me,
viewers.
I'm a very simple person. It will surprise a lot of people that I'm a bit of an introvert. I'm a mom of one. I'm a foodie. I love food. Yeah, I think my hobbies will be lying down and sleeping like a beach whale and eating, I guess. But yeah, I do love reading as well. But I'm an introvert. I enjoy my alone time. But I'm passionate about women um, being at the forefront, women realizing their potential, and women just going for it. And I'm also passionate about giving information, providing the right information to African migrants. So for me, those are the main things that's at the forefront of my passion. Just, yeah,
Being there
providing
for
the right
others, I
information
would
to
say,
African
being there for others primarily. Okay, now, Mommy, you've talked about the African mummies in Deutschland. What is like your mission and vision? What's the long-term plan with the platform?
Okay, we've melded African mummies in Deutschland as a verein. So what we're doing now is we want to provide a helpline for
Okay.
African women. We currently, on our group, you can anonymously share your problems and we talk about it. But what we want to do is to go further and provide a helpline for African women in Germany, where you can call, just like the way there's a hotline for African for maybe women suffering from domestic violence and all. We want to provide a helpline for African women in Germany. We want to go ahead and have more events, career fairs, because that's where what we need to do. Career fairs, events, more events. That's what we're trying to do. And we're also trying to expand our membership. It is our hope and dream that every African woman in Germany is in our Facebook support group.
Great, great. So, what are your core values? What guides you?
The core values is just for us to be able to have the right information to move forward, to be able to have support systems, to be able to move forward, to be able to get the right information at the right time, have the right support systems, and then also yes face the challenges, the daily challenges, united as a united front. That's our
Right.
core values, really.
Okay. Now, you've mentioned over and over as African mummies in Deutschland. What about the mothers who leave now and move back to Africa? Could they still be a part of the platform, or do you
Oh, they
have
can be
to?
a part of the platform because they share their experiences. They still have experiences. They can say, oh, when I was in Germany, this is how it's done. Can you check out this office, Because the law is so dynamic here and it changes all the time. They can say, they can explain their experience. They can provide motivation as well. So it's not a problem at all if someone has moved back, you have that experience and
Right.
it's very needed.
And as the founder now of the AMD, the African Mummies in Deutschland, what do you think is the general perception of mothers, in Germany with respect to the COVID-19?
I'm really surprised. Like, I think African women in general have a very strong inbuilt resilient nature. So I'm really surprised at the way everyone is going about it in the group. They're sharing a lot of information. they're sharing a lot of inspiration. They're sharing a lot of help. I mean, I've had mothers who have helped others, or if there's an emergency, or there's a food crisis, or if there's a situation or an issue, words of support. So it's really been amazing. The perception is we all know that this thing is here. This illness, this disease is here. We have to be careful, but we also have to care for each other and provide support. So
right. So they're getting a lot of support at the moment then. Great. So I noticed there were some African mommies in Deutschland already watching us, saying hello from the beginning. We call on everyone else. I don't know if you know anyone in particular who you want to say hello to at the moment, but we call on.
Oh my God, I can't see. That's the thing. I'm new to this. I'm new to this new platform with the whole live thing. Oh my God. So I can't really see who's online and who's
comment themselves. Never mind. They'll drop the comment themselves to say hello to you. Some of them were already.
Say hello, please.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I see AMD members.
Yeah, is there already with Happy Easter.
Hey, hi. She's here. Hi, Doc. How are you? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you. So we'll see. Others will be joining and dropping the comments as we go on. Now, one of the topics you and I talked about, which I've heard a lot, I actually read on a report talking about domestic violence as we speak. During the COVID-19, everyone is expected to stay home. But what effect or what impact does the lockdown have on domestic violence? Do you have any information out there, what it is like domestic violence related to men or women or kids, all the different parties in the house?
For the first week of the lockdown, when it started, I felt extremely overwhelmed. And me and my admin team, we felt very, very overwhelmed because we had a situation where so many of these people we already knew people who were in domestic violence situations. So we already had this situation where people in domestic violence situations were now stuck at home with their abusers and everything. And then we also had a situation where they didn't know which office will be open to help them. So that was really, really difficult. The statistics are all there. The domestic violence incidents have increased. But the fact of the matter is people were afraid because they didn't know which offices to go to, if these offices will be available, or there are situations where maybe you have a domestic abuse situation where the person is starving you and there's no money to access food or stuff like that. So for us with the admins, it was very difficult because we had to do a lot of writing and calling to try and follow up on that. So, and then also it's something I'm really passionate about and I want to talk to, and I probably will do a video very soon about it. The fact that a lot of people, when they come to Germany, they know, oh, there's freedom of rights and all those things, but they don't know where to go to when they're actually in a domestic violence situation, like the steps to actually take to get out of it. They know. So you tell somebody, they'll be like, in fact, police sign room for like, just call the police or something like that. But they don't actually give you the steps like, okay, when you call the police, make sure you state your issue clearly and concisely. Don't be overly emotional. Make sure you take a report down. Make sure that if they refer you or take you to the Frau House, don't say, okay, I have a place to go. They can also remove your abuser from the property. I mean, there's so many things that steps and like concrete steps that you have to tell them. Make sure you get a report. Make sure you follow up. There's nothing to be ashamed of, because a lot of African women in general are ashamed of doing a police report. They feel like, oh, maybe he brought me to Germany. He can take me. He can stop me. You need that evidence. You know, we live in Germany, which is a paperwork place. So you have to make sure that you provide that evidence that you're under this situation, you're under duress. You're being asked to do something that you don't just run away. Leave the paperwork trail, you know. And if anybody's watching this and they're in a domestic violence situation, you don't have to be a member of African Mummies in Deutschland to contact me. So far as you're in Germany, you can just send me a message on Facebook, and then I will tell you the steps to take. And then also if there's an office that you need to go to, I will provide the information for you.
Perfect. That's a very good, offer you're making to the viewers. If anyone is in any situation which involves domestic violence, so you're addressing the men, the women, the kids as well. They should reach out to you.
Actually, I'm only addressing the women and the kids. I'm sorry.
And do men have issues of domestic violence?
They do, but that's not my forte, unfortunately. I would love for it, but then everybody has to really try and focus. Like, I will talk about it, and if I see it, I mean, I will approach it. But right now, with my calling, it's really based on women and children.
Women and
So
children.
yes, it's a women and children focused thing. So if you are, by all means, contact me. But I just want to say that my focus really is on women and
Right.
children.
So again, for the women and children watching, if you're in any situation like that which involves domestic violence, get in touch with Maame and she'll know the right steps to take. She'll guide you through. For the men, if you are in any situation of domestic violence, of course, call the numbers available for the German help system, and then you can get in touch with anyone or report it to the police or something. Don't be scared like, oh, there's so much going on and people will not be able to respond.
Exactly.
That actually takes me to my
Exactly.
next question. It was actually how the domestic violence is handled at the moment, because a lot of resources, the police, and a lot of these offices you mentioned are shut down. So the victim, if the victim does not call out, is there any other way he can go about or she can go about the domestic violence situation?
The best way, I keep telling, the best way is always to go to the police first. That's the best way, but I'm not blind to the fact that sometimes you can be in a domestic violence situation, and Germany being as it is, you might not get the kind of sympathy or empathy. I had to pause a little. The sympathy and empathy from the police. There's this perception that Africans are aggressive. So then, they come with this mindset concerning the victim. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes you have amazing help. So what I want to say is you need documentation. So if you're in this situation and you're still in a crisis situation, you still need the documentation. So call, state your case, get the paperwork. Then you can move on to go to the Frau House and all that during the lockdown. These situations are still available. After this, I will post the numbers for the domestic helpline. If you can contact me as well, I will post the numbers for the domestic helpline in Germany. But also the first step is always to contact the police. Don't be ashamed. Even if they come and they are hostile, just contact them first, because you will still need the paperwork to go to the Frau House. If you're married, perhaps go to the job center or something. So you still need that paperwork, and you still need help. You can also contact the Caritas and Diakonie. They have such good help when it comes to these social services. But like I said, first step, police, and then there's also the women's helpline for domestic violence.
Thank you. We'll be posting the numbers later on for people to come in the comment section. Of course, reach out through the helpline numbers or reach out to you. But now I'm looking at society as a whole. Not everyone would know how to handle a situation when they get a call that a friend or I don't know is having issues with domestic violence. How should society handle that? Work towards reducing domestic violence during and after the lockdown period?
Please don't say pray, pray, pray. Don't say go and read War Room. Please don't say those things. Please don't be dismissive. Please don't say, are you sure? Please don't say, oh, what did you do to cause that? Or please don't say, oh, I know him, he's very calm. His first wife or his ex-wife said he's very good. Or please don't say, oh, it's only you. Why is it that it's only you? Then you have a problem. Please, they're different. I also want to say that there are different forms of domestic violence. There's emotional abuse as well. So don't say, people are getting beaten, people's hands are being broken, only insult, that's not, please don't do that. Please. What you can do is to be supportive, advise the person on the proper health procedures, police. Don't discourage them. Are you the only one who came to Germany and then your husband is beating you? Want everybody to know. Please don't say hide. Marriage is all about hiding and covering. No, please. Oh, cover your man. Cover your man. Go to the Lord on your knees and cover your man. Please don't do that. Please. It's not a do or die affair. If they're in a domestic violence situation, emotional, physical, mental, you know what to do. They can call the helpline. And then people can only be helped when they're willing to receive help. So don't be angry if somebody comes to you once, tells their problem to you, and then comes the second time, tells their problem to you, and you're like, but I told you what to do. Statistics shows that people will come and go like 7 times, like before they actually work up the courage to leave. So if she's coming to you for maybe the 100th time after complaining, just be consistent as a shoulder to cry, and don't say, in the end you will blame me. Please don't. Be consistent, be a shoulder to cry on, provide the helplines, and then listen to what the person says they need. Ask them, what do you need me to do for you now? I'm here for you. What do you need me to do for you now? Don't say it will be well, and then leave the matter as it is. What do you need me to do for you now is what you should be asking.
Very good. Very good one there. Listening is something we forget to do when someone comes to us with their problems. We have an idea of what to say, but listen to what it is they say they need and try to help them. Don't blame them. Don't try to hush them. Don't get angry if they don't react the first time. So you're talking from experience. You're talking actually the words and the phrases you're mimicking at things you've heard before, Maame. But then on the other hand, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard it because I'm not because I'm a divorcee. Let me clarify before people think, oh, you were divorced from a domestic violence situation. No, but it's something I've done for a long time, and then the victims always tell me about how they went to this person and the person told them to read prayer. There's nothing wrong with prayer, but they can also be leaving as they're praying. There's nothing wrong with that. So there's nothing wrong with prayer. Prayer is a good thing, but when you know that it's not going to get better, when you know that it's not, when you know perfectly well that this is a situation where this person is going to kill this lady, then you say, oh, pray he will change. Realistically, when you know that they can't do that. So please, the words are words that I hear directly from victims. The minimization, the gaslighting of society, the fear. These are all words I hear from victims all the time.
Now, when I look at social media and the impact it can have in many different domains, do you think social media can help in increasing the number of cases we have or reducing the number of cases we have in domestic violence?
I can only see social media as a positive thing. Why? Because people will say, oh, then you shouldn't look at his phone. And no, I see social media as a positive thing. I remember when we did a series on emotional abuse and psychological abuse. And then I had people come back to me and say, oh, I didn't know I was in an abusive situation. He never put his hands on me. So I thought, okay, it's okay. So he never put his hands on me. So I thought it was okay and it was fine. And, that kind of thing. No, they're different. So through social media, we're able to educate people. We're able to give them the information. We're able to let them know their rights. We're able to tell them, okay, these kind of things are not normal. They're not the normal thing that everybody, because sometimes people can be in an abusive situation and they don't even know they're in an abusive situation. And then they're reading something, they just know something is not right and they're not happy, but they don't know that the situation is abusive until they go and then they read about it. So for me, social media can be exhausting sometimes, but I only see it as a really, really super positive thing.
Well, right now, the world facing the pandemic, of course, is in a lockdown. We have to stay at home. But for many different people, there are different kinds of constellations of homes. In your experience with the African mummies in Deutschland, what are the different types of homes we have and how are they affected during the crisis?
We have amazing, we have people who are amazingly happy in happy homes that are just enjoying the lockdown, seeing it as a time for family, because not every story is a sad story. Some people are just enjoying it, seeing it as a great time to catch up on homeschooling, their kids, maybe just give their kids some rest, reconnect with their kids, just especially moms who are in a really just reevaluate their lives. So there are people like that. We also have people who, before the lockdown, I'm very into organization because I used to be a super disorganized person before I came to Germany. I still struggle with organization. So I remember saying on the group that we should try to stock up on stuff. That was way before, somewhere in November. And I was just joking with someone in the group, oh, I'm a prophetess. So I had already talked to people about organizing and stocking up and just taking advantage of when things are in anger mode, when things are on sale, and then buying a good quantity and checking out expiry dates and all. So there are people who have stocked up and they're comfortable, and there are people who also have pre-existing health problems and all that. And then there are also people who are struggling with different issues, like people who don't have enough. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, when people started stocking up and buying things in large quantity, you're in trouble, because you know you're gonna go there when your paycheck has come, and then you find everything is gone. So we should be considerate of people like that, because there are people in those kind of situations. There are also people who don't have a choice, but they have to work. And then there also we have a situation where we have a number of people who are still in the asylum system, and they are on lockdown in the asylum houses. They're still on lockdown in their
refugee
camps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Someone once told me when I came to Germany, there's going to interfere. The German language will interfere with your English language. I was like, what are you talking about?
I know. Now you're looking for the word.
Now I'm thinking Asylheim. Yeah, for the refugee homes. Yeah. So we still have people who are in a situation where they are locked down in the refugee homes. They're in crowded situations. They're still being asked to eat together. We have some refugee homes where it's so stringent that they can't even go out unless they're going. The camp doctor has signed before they can go out, you know. So and they're in cramped situation, maybe 3 in a room or something like that. So those are the different times. There are also single mothers who are struggling with depression. All mothers, there are women who are struggling with depression, and you can imagine depression also helps when you go out into the sun and go on with your routines. And if you're facing such a situation, it's really overwhelming.
Right. So these different types of homes define now if you're going to be happy during the lockdown or sad during the lockdown. Have you had to talking to a couple of African mommies in Deutschland? What do they say? How do they analyze the present situation? Are they more or less?
Some are really enjoying themselves, living their best lives, baking. I started baking now. So yeah, I just started getting into baking. Some are baking, enjoying the peace of mind, you know, catching up on the news. And we have a lot of African women who are nurses here in Germany, and they're and doctors and assistants or nursing assistants. We have a lot of them, and they're on the front lines as well. And we want to say a big thank you to them, because they're really doing their best. So we have a lot of them on the front line, a lot of African. I think it's a number one career for African women. A lot of women in the front line, nurses in the front line, and we're really grateful to them. So those are also affected because they are frontline staff, and they have to put their children in school and then go. So we stay at home because of people like that. So we should also remember to stay at home for those who are making the effort and doing this.
Okay, now let's look at the mommies who have to stay at home during this period. Have any of them reached out to you? Are there needy mommies, some who cannot afford the basic, you know, items they need to be locked down? Has anyone reached out to you?
Unfortunately, what it is that us African women in Germany, when it comes to a situation, financial situation, we're very reluctant to ask for help. However, there's been someone in our group who just got up and then decided to help. I have had someone reach out, and that was a serious situation, just one. But then most of the mummies in our group, they're so kind. They've been offering help, and other people have been connecting to them. They haven't. I've had people reach out, but not. They're always reluctant to help. But then you see from their situation. But I've had a mom who donated a shopping spree. Shopping good shine, and when she donated it, I put it out in the group, and the person got it. Yes, and then so we have people who are always willing to help and donate and help others. So that's amazing. That's the amazing thing about our group as well.
That's great. Now, thinking about our roots, we all came from Africa.
Even speaking of which, I remember I lost my purse recently.
Oh, sorry
and then I put
about
it in
that.
one of the. It's not even about African mummies. I lost my purse recently. I put it in the group for the whole of my area, and then someone reached out to me. Oh, your purse is missing. Can I send you some food? So people are being super kind. Some people are being super aggressive in the supermarkets, but in general, I think the whole of Germany, there's so many people who are being super kind.
That's great. That's great. So at least you have food to eat, right? Sorry
I
about
was
your
like,
purse.
no, I'm somebody who stocked up a long time ago. Don't worry, I'm good.
Even though you would have had like a lot of food coming your
Oh
way,
my
but
God, I
good.
would have had
Now,
extra. I'm already like, trying to avoid the quarantine weight gain. So
I know, right? We're all having that. That's why tomorrow we'll be talking to an expert who talks about a healthy eating lifestyle. Because if we
oh
already
great.
had that as a lifestyle, we won't be fighting now to, maintain that eating healthy. So we'll be flying over to Douala, Cameroon tomorrow to talk to Asaba Juliet, who will tell us about healthy eating as a lifestyle. So tune in tomorrow, Mame,
I'll
at
be
6
so
p.m.
so so happy to watch that.
Great, great. So the comment comes from Patience Goikala Atanga. Well done, Maame Dentaa. Please don't forget to share our live video yesterday with the Returnees Project. I think they
Okay.
might be useful information for mothers there too.
Okay.
Right. We had Patience yesterday and she talked about how the parents and homeschooling and all that. And so she had a look at what we should be doing with our kids at home
Oh,
now.
she's amazing. She's such an inspiration. Like she has so much information. She's someone that everyone looks up to. She takes so much time and effort helping Africans here in Germany. So it's amazing.
Great. So that was for you, Mape. You're an amazing person. I told you yesterday you thought I was throwing flowers on you. Mame has said that again. So guess what? You are an amazing and an inspiring person. Now let's look at, we've talked about the African mummies in Deutsch, and I'm thinking of the African mothers in Cameroon or Ghana or Nigeria, South Africa, etc. Do you happen to, or are you envisaging working with an African
We
organization?
already have. I already
Great.
have. I used to be
Great.
married to a pastor, and so we already had our women help organizations. So I still have a African organization,
Mhm.
and we're trying to build a vocational institute for African women in Ghana. So I mean, because handwork now is really to have that handwork is something that you would be really helpful, and so we're trying to do that. So we do have our organization. It's called the Jedediah Foundation,
Very
and
good. Is
that's
that in
who we are
Ghana?
affiliated to. Yeah, in Ghana.
All right, all right. Okay, that's great. That's
It's
great. So
over
good to
it's
know.
over 10 years old now. So yeah.
Good, good, good. Great to know. I was actually thinking, yeah, how would it be like to work with the other mummies then in Africa? And good that you already have such a structure in place. Now, with the pressure and everything going on now, a mother's role is very, very important at home, very crucial. What are things mothers especially should be doing now to curb the spread of the coronavirus?
Just the basic hand washing, staying at home, just what we've been told. Hand washing, staying at home. I also like to include the mask wearing, because I recently went out with the mask myself, and I think it's a very good idea. We should all go, if possible, get our mask and then be careful, and then just maintain that social distancing. We're hopeful that very soon things will change, but frequently washing our hands, maintaining the social distancing is the best thing that we can do.
Right. And of course, I know the role mothers have, like they help reinforce that with the kids, right? You don't want them to go
Yes.
wash their hands like this and then run out. You want to follow them every now and then to teach them how to scrub properly.
Rub in between their fingers and everything.
Exactly,
Yeah.
do that and then disinfect. So a mother's role is actually stressed a little bit more now. Make sure now we hear that the virus can be under the shoe if you step out for up to 4 hours. Make sure that the kids take off the shoes, or the family in general takes off the shoes at the door when they come back from anywhere, if they have to go out, right? We're
I've
saying
always had like that taking off shoe policy in my
at the
house. I think we
door.
even
Yes.
discussed it in the group. And I
Yes.
think a lot of Africans get offended when you come to my house. I'm like, please take off your shoes. But
But now they understand why.
yeah, they
So
kind of,
it's
it's
actually
always been my thing to take off your shoes. Yeah.
that's great. So other mothers are actually joining you now, but the reason why you do it, we're plentiful. The coronavirus is not the only virus.
Yeah.
Guess what? So there
Oh,
are other
yeah.
viruses, there are other things you can carry into the house from outside.
Okay.
Even when you walked around with your hand sanitizers, people used to
Mm-hmm.
look at you like you're trying to be too clean. But now, what
Too
is this?
clean, overdoing it.
Exactly. This is proven to us that for every little time you wash your hands, shake hands with people, go wash your hands and sanitize, you were effectively doing something good. Because when I turned around and on almost every handbag I had a hand sanitizer, it's just because we already knew We needed to do this. So the virus just helps us, helps others join now and, stress again on the fact that it's absolutely important to maintain that hygiene, because that is how you have the virus is transmitted, the illness is transmitted from person to person, right? There is a question from Maria Banga. She says, see, so now with the lockdown, what option do they have like here in Cameroon? Seriously. Now she's asking about a scenario in Cameroon. Well, Maria, I don't know if Maame can answer that. With the scenario in Cameroon is basically like she said, right? Do the same things, leave the shoes at the door. Maame, I'll let you answer Marie's question.
Like I said, like I have parents back, my mom's back home and my sisters. Well, I have family back home. I stressed on, all we can do is stress on the social distancing, because people are a bit lax when it comes to social distancing back home. All we can do is stress on the social distancing, that they should keep social distancing and they should try as much as possible to wash their hands. That's all we can do. The options there, there's a lady in our group, she's also quite an inspiration. Vera, she's trying to raise money for Cameroonian families during this lockdown period. So I will also drop the link. So if you know her, she's also doing a small funding to try and raise money for Cameroonian families, because we all know that lockdown is not the same for everybody,
Sure.
Like here in Germany, there may be options for people who lose their jobs. So, but I don't think it's the same for us back home, for those back home. So it's important that yes, she's also raising money for people in Cameroon. So
right, that's good. It's good you mentioned Vera. It gives me also a chance to mention Dr. Stefania Bianda Pabdo. She and her organization is also raising money for the doctors, the medical staff in Cameroon, to ensure that they have the basic, equipment, everything exactly to fight the coronavirus. At least they are at the front line. And if we in Germany have medical teams helping those out there, so reach out to Bianda Pabdo through her link on her profile as well, and donate as much as you can. The more structures we have, the better it is to help people back home. And I don't know about Ghana, actually, Maame. There are bikers in Cameroon who travel around the city like means of transportation. So Laura Sen in Douala is putting up an action, masks for these Cameroon bikers. Since they carry a lot of the population around, she's working in collaboration with the Returnees Project, My Structure, to make sure that we provide masks for these bikers who always, they carry about how many passengers a day. So that's a very easy way the virus goes around the community. So there are these structures in place. We'll drop the link also later on. So you can reach out to Vera, Laura Sen, and Bianda Pabdo for how to help, donate to the different structures which are helping also back in Cameroon. Now, moving on to something else down the list of our questions for today, Maame. Mothers have a lot to do, just like fathers. But then, in addition, there is that extra pressure of making sure the kids are clean, making sure the kitchen is, clean, you've cooked and all that. The men do that as well, no doubt about it. But the women are at the forefront of the household. So it brings a lot of pressure at the moment. What tips can you give mothers at the moment to just ease that pressure which is on them? Think of a home with 5 kids.
I don't know if I'm like, so I give some advice that people will raise their eyebrows, but I feel like people always say, oh, Dee, you give the best advice. But yeah, I'm going to say this. If you live in Germany, please take your vitamin D. Drugs are important, so please take your vitamins, because you need that extra energy. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to say, look, at the end of the day, you have to have some kind of attitude with your life, that you don't really care about what everybody, I used to be that people pleaser person that used to put so much on my plate and try to make everybody feel happy. And if I don't do that, then I'm not being the best mom I can be. But now people are just disturbed, like, oh, Dee, you don't really care. Yes, I do not care, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So first, take care of yourself. Make sure that you practice some kind of self-care. Pencil it in. Some time to take care of yourself, a bubble bath, read a good book, lie down and sleep like you're crazy, just do something to first take care of yourself. So first take care of yourself. Number two, stop caring what people think. If you care what people think, then you are a good mom already because you're trying your best. So just do your best and leave the rest to God. So that's what I'm going to say. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do all the homeschool, finish all the syllabus and everything. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to put yourself under so much undue pressure. Take your vitamins, take care of yourself, and ask for help as well. Don't be there and then the children will be running around and behaving like they can't do anything. No, God, no. Ask for help from that man. Ask for help from your kids, those kids running around there, and then take care of yourself. And if you can't do it all, chuck it up. There will be another day.
True. Can't do it all. Check it out. There'll be another day. So, ladies and gentlemen, be easy on yourself. Do what you have to do. But remember, take it easy. And remember the me time. You need time for yourself, to regain your energy, to be able to carry on the role you play as a mom, especially during the lockdown. Making sure the house is clean, the food is ready, the kids are clean, the laundry is done. All that can be overwhelming.
Sometimes they can eat pizza or they can have pommes. It's not the end of the world. Just because
healthy, no. You have permission.
No, I'm just saying once in a while. No. Let's not all be crazy over there. It's not like you're going out there to go harvest some vegetables. Like seriously, God, no.
Please.
Once in a while, let them have the food that is readily available so you can have your peace.
Right.
I mean, you're not.
When you stock up all the cravings, then you wonder later on why you're feeling so frustrated and angry with yourself. So every now and then, a treat. Every now and then, give yourself a treat. Now, what about the kids, Maame? The kids are also, it's not easy for them to just be home. These are little creatures which like running out, jumping around a little bit. So what tip can you give to ease the pressure on these kids? They have to learn, they have to this. They feel like it's holiday, but it cannot be holiday, especially the past 3 weeks when they had to be learning. What tips can you give the kids?
Plan and organize. I also have a separate school group, which is a Grundschule group for Grundschule moms who are homeschooling. But the hyperactive child, I can't really give good advice there because I have a super, super, super calm child. It was only when we were back from the shooting, she was like, I'd been sitting there asking her, "Oh, I'm gonna do a live video. Do you want to eat something? I'm gonna do a live video. Do you want to eat something?" Like, no. As soon as the live video starts, she's like, "I'm hungry." So I can't really give. So yeah, sometimes even the calm ones kind of give you a hard time. But what I want to say is, with the kids, if you can schedule something, that's amazing. We share a lot of tips in the groups. So if you can schedule something, that's amazing. Also, kids are little human beings, so parents easy on the pressure as well. And then also, we can't come and kill ourselves. That's my best advice right now.
No. So be easy on each other. Just use this time to relax and remember. Be kind. Remember, it's Easter. There's a season of hope, of love, of joy and kindness. It's holiday now, right? So actually,
then you can also join like Facebook groups that do homeschooling, that do organization stuff. True. You can also watch YouTube homeschooling and organizational videos and everything so that it can help you to kind of organize yourself and your schedule. But on the whole, just take, because for example, like there's some kids who can't stand to be cooped up. My daughter's like, I don't want to go out, the corona's in the air, so everyone is different. So I can't really give perfect advice to the moms who are struggling out there with the hyperactive kids, but just schedule stuff. And it makes things easier. Scheduling and organization always makes life easier.
Something you mentioned at the beginning also, to listen. It also helps to listen to kids now, hear what it is they say they want to do or not. So it's easier for you. It might be you're planning to do something in 3 hours. They want to do it now. It's okay. Just do it now with them. And then when they feel that relaxed atmosphere, it might help you with the pressure as well. So listening to them is also very important. Now, talking about the COVID-19 and the pandemic, cutting across the world, of course. Maame, do you have any idea of the statistics of what it is like back home for you in Ghana?
I think I spoke to my mom today because I'm the paranoid one, and she was saying 408. I'm the one who looks at the statistics all day. So they said 408 people have gotten it, and then I think I'm not sure about the confirmed deaths, but I know 408 people now are infected. It's unfortunate that, they're having problems tracing because people are not so open about who they've met and who they've
Right.
seen and all that. And I even read an article back home where a young man died, and then the parents kept saying, no, and then he was confirmed with COVID, and the parents said no,
Mm.
he had an asthma problem, and he never traveled. But we have to understand now that it's not about travel history anymore. There are people who do have no travel history, but as a result of contact,
Yeah.
are getting it. So yeah, so that for us. But luckily, I'm not a political person, but I'm really impressed with the government's handling of the lockdown situation, providing free water for the next, is it 3 months, or water
Great.
bill, consistent electricity,
That's in
and all
Ghana,
that.
right?
I mean,
Perfect. Mhm.
it's really impressive.
Right, that's in Ghana. It's something we would
Yeah, in
hope
Ghana.
to have in Cameroon as well. The government offering, free electricity and water, and available as well. Because another problem is sometimes they say it's free and then it's not
But it's not
available.
available. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think in general we all
what's the
struggle with
point?
that. I don't know the
Right.
situation. I'm probably sure that as soon as I finish, they'll be like, "Yes, but what are you talking about? It's free, but it's not available." So
It's
yeah,
not
I don't
available.
know
What are
the
you talking about?
situation.
Yeah. So they say, stay home, stock your fridge. You can't stock the refrigerator because there's power failure and then you don't have the food. So we
Yeah.
understand actually the reality back home is a little bit tough, a little bit tough. So we're actually saying whatever you can do to stay home, stay safe, do on your part. And that reminds me of back home when we used to have a lot of smoked meat or smoked fish. Instead of putting in the refrigerator, you could have that smoked, kind of dried up. So it would help at times like this. Now, we've talked about the statistics in Ghana. I'm just having a look at, oh, hello, Gabrielle. Gabrielle is saying hello from Copenhagen.
Hi, Gabrielle.
Great. So I'm looking at the statistics of today. You've mentioned Ghana, and I'm looking at the USA still at the top position with 550. So
Isn't it so
545,000.
scary? I just
This
wish.
is, yeah, this is looking at the worldometer. Let me just read the statistics if you give me a second there. This is the worldometer info. It says that there is a total of 1.8 million people infected as of now, 113,000 deaths. Now, USA tops the list with 545,934 cases as we speak, and also has the highest number of deaths at 21,474. Germany, in which we live, is at 126,656 infected, and we have a total of 2,908 deaths. So you see, we are actually doing well, relatively well, as compared to other countries. And I talked to a medical doctor in the interview we had 2 weeks ago with Dr. TJ Famambu. He says the reason why Germany has this lower numbers is that we have lots of more beds in the ICUs in Germany, and the ventilators were already available before these cases came through. Because everybody's wondering, like, everybody's at about 18,000, 20,000 deaths, and Germany is at 2,000. Although we have a high infected rate, it's because, yes, effectively the medical facilities are better equipped as we speak than other countries, what we're grateful for. So we're glad at least to be in Germany at the moment and hope
Oh yeah.
that nothing happens to us. But if so, we're actually reassured that
We're
there
in the
will be an
best,
ICU
yeah,
bed.
in the
Yeah,
safest possible
because it's,
place.
it's
Yeah.
it's awful to think that you will have to choose which patient to give the ventilator to, isn't
Oh
that?
my God, it is, isn't it?
It is. When I heard about that, I just thought that is really, really trying. You're like, oh no, I'm not going to
Hello,
give you the
Divine.
ventilator. Hello, Divine. How are you? Hello from Germany. Of course. Hi, Divine. She was one of the guests. She talked about solar energy, and she talked about the role we play and how the diaspora is doing with, investing back home, etc. So, Mame, as we kind of be rounding up the interview, one thing we've mentioned that is very important is to read a lot of books at the moment and listen to music. What are like your favorite books?
Oh, I used to be a bookworm, but now I used to be a bookworm, but now I rarely get the time to read as much as I would like to. And when I do, I for some reason only want to read like the horror genre. So I'm
Horror.
still going back to my Stephen King's, and if I pick up any new horror story, I would love to. And I'm doing a lot of autobiographies now. I
Okay.
love the Michelle Obama autobiography. So I'm doing all that. I love reading historic novels about, you know, stuff that happened in the past. I know you can only get that way. I coincidentally won my literature prize in secondary school, so yay. So I am a bit of a bookworm, but you know, my favorite has to be like Things Fall Apart. And I am one of those strange people that read poetry, so I still have my African poetry book. I still shout out to my old teacher if she's still watching, Mrs. Toga. Yeah, so I still have that book there. And then because my sister is an amazing,
that's great.
Yeah, I still have that book, and then I read it, and then and because now with African mommies, I'm meeting people from different African countries, you know, and then we're talking about stuff like that, and then they're telling me the significance and then the explanation of what it means, and then the depth of it. It's really nice. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Actually, remind me of my primary school teacher, Esther Shea, who should be watching this as well from the US. So it's good to have the teachers still watching. I actually wrote to her the other day. I'm like, what would you do if you were teaching an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old? Getting tips from my primary teacher.
I always thought I was an amazing teacher. I was like, people tell me all the time, "Oh, Dee, you're a great teacher. You're amazing. You're so." I'm like, yeah, I know. But when I started teaching my daughter, I realized that
not so easy.
Is hard. It's so
not so easy. Not so easy. You have to be patient. And then when you do it day in, day out, you're not just doing the homework. You're now the full-blown teacher, right?
I'm like, oh my God, this cannot be healthy. What I have another mom's group, like a support group, WhatsApp. I was like, look, there has to be another way because this stuff is not healthy. So I wrote to my daughter's teacher and I said, you know, maybe we should do like a Zoom conference with the kids, you know, trying to get the teachers to do that.
To get a classroom.
But then I have a wonderful Lioma for my daughter, and she's doing a lot of live videos and WhatsApp videos with her. So that really helps.
Okay, so we have Lungwa Mercy who says, happy Easter to you all. Bad signals here in Yaoundé. I would think signal as in the network connections maybe. So she's tuning in, but she's having an unstable network. Yeah, so thanks for sharing your favorite books with us. We got from you Things Fall Apart by Chino Achebe, and any horror book or possibly movie by Stephen King. It's something you would like to read. You also focus a lot on poetry and, you know, try to read more on poetry, and then you do biographies or autobiographies as well that we retain. And one thing we want our guests to leave the viewers with is a message from themselves. Like, the world is facing an unprecedented situation, and this is your moment to just, like, you know, address everybody out there, say something that you have on your heart, and, you know, just talk to the world out there.
I want to say my message to the world is, do you. You are enough. Just do you. Like, you know, right now, this COVID situation has made us really reevaluate our priorities and what is important to us. Stop trying to please people, because at the end of the day, they don't even care what you think. Do you. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself inside, because it's really important. You know, I know a lot of people who have slaved all their lives to make sure that other people are happy, and at the end of the day, they themselves are not happy. So do you. It's very important to do you. Make sure you're okay. I don't mean in a selfish way, but stop pleasing people. But it's the time for you to step out and then do what's best for you, and stop pleasing everyone around you.
So just do you. Stop pleasing everyone around
you're
you.
Enough. Yeah,
you're enough. That's the message we got today from Maame. Do you. You're enough. Stop trying to please people out there. And if there is nothing else to add, I would say, is there anyone out there you want to send a shout out to or greeting to, Maame?
Oh my God, all the 3,000 plus African women in Germany. Thank you. All my supportive family, Facebook family. And then my neighbors. I have fantastic neighbors. Oh my God. Like, thank you. I even got Easter presents. I'm not worthy.
That's good. Good.
Thank you got some so chocolate. Much. I'm really grateful.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Maame.
The pleasure's all mine.
Great. Thank you for making the time. Have a beautiful Easter. I'll leave you with a song now. We've left from Ghana with Daddy Lumba. We're flying over to Nigeria. I'll leave you with Flavor and wish you a happy Easter.
Okay, happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter to you, Miranda. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now. I want to say thank you to my amazing team as well for putting all this up. I want to thank everyone watching. Thank you so much, Jill Priska, Elise, Crystal, Noel, Tasha. All of you are doing amazing. I want to thank you for putting up these interviews, cutting across the world, reaching out to so many people. It is just through you that I can do all the things I do. You have everything working behind the scenes, so I can just sit here for an hour and talk to the guests. So, like I say once more, all our success is thanks to the dream team I have working behind me. As you know, my name is Miranda OBEN, and it's a huge pleasure for me to have you all here today. Have a beautiful Easter. Keep giving hope, love, sharing with one another, and be kind. Be good. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. when it's 7 p.m. in Germany, and I'll see you on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday with amazing guests. Tomorrow we'll be having Asaba Juliet from Douala, and then on Tuesday we'll fly to Canada to talk to Asheri. On Wednesday we'll carry on with the interviews, talking to a most exciting guest. Stay tuned. Bye bye from me, Miranda OBEN.
If you ask me what my best day is when I press you on Sunday morning. I got my truth in my mind. Unesidu na mungane tokyo, makana chiane in my